What is up, family? You are in tune to the Marvelous Talk podcast with the usual suspects, myself, Big Max, and Big G. What is up, Max, man? How you doing?
Dang, I got a promotion. Get to
Yeah,
be
you
Big
did. You got a
Max.
promotion, Big Max.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what
I'm
I'm talking
hyped.
about. Yeah.
So what's up with it, man? How you doing this week?
Doing good, man. I just watched a great episode of Moon Knight. I cut it close. Just finished it about like 20 minutes ago. It was really good. Ahmad, you're a hater. Just a preference for everybody out there. How's Big G
Right.
though? What's up, Big G?
I'm gonna tell
Man,
you,
listen.
I'm gonna speak for
Go
the
ahead, go
average
ahead.
person in a minute. G, man, how was your week?
It's cold in Ohio, man. It's 30 degrees outside. It might snow tonight, man.
Go
How
Reds.
snow in April the 27th of 2022. It's gonna
Wow.
snow. That's why I'm all bundled up, because it's cold. It's 30 degrees outside.
Wow.
If it makes you feel any
Well,
better, it was
why
80
you-
today in LA.
While you're inside, man, and whoever's watching, make sure that you like and subscribe. Smash that like button on Facebook. Subscribe on Twitch and YouTube so that you'll get the notifications when we are here and we do go live. But we're definitely going to get into some Moon Knight and other Marvelous Talk news. But before we do, let's, like always, let's get into this. Listen and listen and pay attention. We are in tune to the Marvelous Talk podcast, and of course, you got your boys here. And I'm gonna speak. We're gonna jump right into it, man. I'm gonna speak to the average, everyday Marvel watcher, somebody who's not involved in the comics or the comic book nature like G is and like Max is. Both of them are connoisseurs. G may have Max by a little bit, but not much.
It's an age thing, whatever.
When we're
It's
talking
years of
about
service.
this,
It's years of service.
yeah, I'm just saying, man. When we talk about this, average people have got accustomed to watching Marvel movies, getting action, having characters that they identify with. And because you don't identify with the characters, you're saying, what is this? I have multiple people out there. DJ Teddy, shout out to Teddy for, definitely rocking with the Marvelous Talk podcast. I got people out there who are just like, man, I don't like Moon Knight. Now, last episode was one of those episodes that would be hard to follow if you were not a comic book guy. You wouldn't know where it's coming from. It's blindsiding you. It's one of those things that is even more confusing than the previous episode. But what I'm going to do, man, I'm going to turn this over to Max so that way he can definitely go ahead, walk us through the episode and kind of talk us through some of the things that happened. And we'll address those issues later on in the podcast. Max, talk to us, man. Tell us what happened in this week's edition of Moon Knight.
Well, we'll pick up where we left off. We're in the psych ward. There's a hippopotamus standing in front of them. And they're pretty scared. They're like, what's going on with this? And we figure out that it is the god of women and children, Tuatha. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's a tough name to pronounce, so you'll have to excuse me. She's taking them on a ship. She goes, hey, we need to balance out your scales or you're going to go to the underworld, basically. You don't want to end up there. She goes, you guys have to explore each other's past. And then we basically follow Mark and Steven, and we get the background story of how Steven came about or how Mark came about. We see tragedy, we see highs, we see lows, we see the two figuring out how to be together and how to mend what's broken. Because I'm sure this is what Arthur saw when he checked their scales. It's just it's not ever in balance. It's just bobbing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And at the end of the episode, I would say we had something sad happen. It was just, it really just took you back to where it started. And I think it was sad. It was emotional. You could kind of connect with it. You could see the pain in Mark's face throughout the episode. And it was about exploring, about like dealing with trauma in a sense. And it was honestly, I think, my favorite episode of the series by far. And it might be the best episode of anything Disney Plus.
So, all right, I'm going to come back to that statement. And I definitely want some explanation for that statement. Big G, you said the same thing, man. You said it was one of the best episodes, man. Elaborate and tell me why you thought that this was just the Bomb by Z episode.
Well, first of all, it's one of the closest renditions of a Marvel Cinematic Universe or Marvel Disney Plus series that is like the comic. I mean, this is like spot on comic book, letting you know how connected the Moon Knight character actually is to the MCU, because there's a bunch of Easter eggs. But even more so, I think in order to fall in love with a character that has a dark anti-hero flavor to him, because he's really not really good or bad, you have to understand where his trauma and where his pain came from, right? So then that way you can identify or wrap your mind around it, but at the same time have an understanding, and then almost like cheer for the guy that you never cheered for. And that's really who Mark Spector is. Mark Spector is the guy that you would never cheer for. He was a mercenary. You know, he killed people. You know, that's what is, when there's a scene where they see all these people to be offed, right? So how else do you build up a character that it's almost impossible to identify with? Well, you show the human side of him, which was all the trauma he went through as a young person, right? And then there lies why he's Moon Knight. Because Khonshu saw that he wants to actually protect the ones that deserve to be offed, in my opinion.
And, you know, so before I actually jump into the average person's breakdown of this show, Max, why did you think this was a really good episode? I'm just really interested to hear that perspective.
Kind of what Sean said, and build off of that. It's just, it dealt with trauma. It dealt with, maybe you had the sense as a sibling you were kind of the forgotten one, or you were kind of the underachiever of the bunch. And we were able to see Mark deal with loss, with grief, see his mother essentially turn on him. You could see in that scene where Big G's talking about, where you see all the dead bodies and you see the little kid, and then you can just see the agony on his face when he's like, what's in that room? Mark knew that's where Steven was created. Spoiler out there. We should have said at the start. Spoilers, everyone. But we saw the creation of Steven, and we saw what it did. And Mark picked him up and said, no, you lived. You were like the happy life. You had it. And that's what made it special. I thought Oscar Isaac this is the best acting I've ever seen him do. I thought he stole the show. Like, you could tell, like, he had to literally be in agony and be the picker-upper. And it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable TV.
So here's the thing. So what you wouldn't have got from this episode is that he's dead. Mark Spector, in all intents and purposes, he's been shot. He's dead. And this place is the in-between. It's kind of like the hippos driving the bus to the end destination, right? She's whipping the bus to the end destination. So at this point, just like everybody has kind of, and this is just like, I want to make it bare balls for the people who don't really get it. And I have to, because if we're going to explain the show, we gotta kind of put it down there. And I know, if we don't like break it down, everybody won't get it. So in previous episodes, you saw the red casket like thing. What do y'all call it again?
Sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus. Yeah. You saw the red sarcophagus who has not been opened. I'm going to tell you why that's important here in just a second. We saw the thing that made Moon Knight. See, it hurt my feelings to see it, but his mother fractured him. His mother broke him. into different places in his personality, because just like Big G said earlier in our earlier episodes, trauma is what caused his disassociative personalities. That's what caused it. Intense trauma. The intense trauma was not only that his mother blamed him from his, well, first of all, not only did he lose his brother in a cavern, his mother blamed him for it. His mother beat him for it. And you know, it made him go to another place. I don't believe that not only Stephen was formed in that room, but we also had another personality that was formed in that room. And at some parts of me believe that he is Moon Knight. And at the end, you saw, spoiler, of course, you saw Stephen do what Stephen has been doing the whole time. And I thought this was brilliant writing. Stephen had actually been the protector for Mark, not the other way around. Right. Stephen has protected Mark his whole life. So he did what he's always done. He protected Mark and ended up getting knocked off the boat protecting Mark, right? And you see him die. You see him get pulled into the sand and you see him die. But I don't believe that's the end. Not for Stephen. I think here's where in this next episode, we're actually going to see that third personality take over and really embrace Moon Knight, right? He hadn't embraced him, and I think that was causing a lot of the fracture because he could not face the trauma that he had went through. So you guys, although it was a episode that was all over the place, I have to agree with Sean. I have to agree with Max. It was really, really good in the sense that it was an origin episode. We should have got it in the first, but they kind of did it backwards and they wrote it. And it's all from the comic book. It's all from the comic. It's how Moon Knight actually started. So I get it. It was slow. It was all over the place. It may have confused you for a minute, but it was necessary. And they're going to tie this in the bow and put it in a way in which I think everybody is going to be excited. What do you think about that take, Max? You actually think that?
No, you said it beautifully, and I just want to add to it. Just when you said it's crazy to think about Stephen was the protector of Mark, because so often, and maybe this is just again the genius of Marvel and Kevin Feige showing up. It's when you think about a protector, you think of someone who can like defend themselves physically, right? Like Mark could lay out 10 dudes. But the truth was, it was Stephen and his ability to like wither words and wither beatings, and just like he literally let the train run over Stephen, and that's what protected him, even though there was pain involved. It's all the things you really don't think about a protector being is what Stephen is. And Stephen paid the price, and I don't think Stephen's gone, but I think the third personality, I don't think it's coming. I really don't think it's going to be focused on these two and Khonshu. I guess if you want to count Khonshu as third, there's no Jake Lockley coming, in my opinion. I think it's going to be too much for everybody to deal with now. I thought we saw so many signs. I think they hinted at it. We will get it down the road, but I'm off the third personality bus. I'm done. The hippo dropped me off. I landed in the sand. I mummified on that day.
Right.
But it was beautiful, Joe. Just how they let weakness be strong, if that makes sense.
They let weakness be strength. Yeah, definitely. G, what do you think about that?
Oh, I agree with your take, man. I mean, there's nothing like I said. I mean, I've been on the anti-hero thing for now. We're getting close to a year. I've been on the whole anti-hero thing. Well, anti-heroes are people that when you start associating heroes and you start talking about Captain America and Iron Man, Thor, and these anti-heroes are like they're bad, right? So how do you justify something that is bad? You got to put it in a situation to where it looks good. And that's really what the whole character of Moon Knight is. Moon Knight is Mark Spector personified, right? So because Mark Spector is a vigilante. So he's the full embodiment of a vigilante, And for those that don't understand, a vigilante is something that goes around and just kills things, right? We haven't really seen that in the MCU as of yet. You know, we saw maybe Hulk take out some robots and, you know, maybe Thor off a god or something like that, you know, but we ain't really seen a whole lot of killing on the Earth realm part of it, right? So Moon Knight's thing is he's the hand of justice. I'm wiping out everything that's bad, you know, or that did bad and protect the innocent. So you got to put this character in that position where he's got to shine. And in order to shine, you got to bring out the best qualities in it. And I'm going to go so far to say that Stephen Grant was actually the best characteristic of Mark Spector. Stephen Grant was humble. He cared. And you've seen it all throughout the episodes. Even Mark Spector's wife fell in love with Stephen Grant. You know, he was sort of shy. He was introverted. He was caring, loving. He wasn't like, you know, this guy that was just brash and out there. So it's a character that you had to love. So when you see him fall in the sand at the end and you see him like melt away, you're like, no. You took out the best part of the guy who we done fell in love with. So that I'm loving that whole buildup of that character, man.
Well, and to Max's point, Max, I got to tell you, there's no way that they've committed to the third personality. You got to see Jake, right? They've committed to it.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I really quick, Big G, it's like Steven was the light to Mark's darkness.
Yeah.
And now that light's gone, maybe that light's gone, and maybe we'll see the darkest version, which is Jake Lockley. So maybe the third's back. Maybe I'm already back on the bus. Hippo, pick me up. Take me to the field of reeds.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
I think that's what is gonna have to happen, because without Steven, I think Steven was because you can see they were halfway balancing, and she even said there's a piece missing. There's something missing inside of you guys, right? That piece is Jake. Because Jake, I think Jake did all of the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? Jake was the one who, because think about it. If he got beat and he went through all that trauma, that usually manifests itself in a very angry person or very just like a violent person, right?
Right.
So who better than, and think about it. Like I said, they committed to it. Because he was like, man, why'd you do that? I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So they already committed to that third personality. And then with the sarcophagus, it's there, right? So he's gonna have to say, okay, my third man, my wingman is gonna have to come out, and he's full blood Moon Knight. He's coming for your head. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna handle everything and make everything right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
I think that's who Khonshu wants. Khonshu wants Jake Lockley. He could care less about Mark Spector or really Stephen Grant. He wants Jake Lockley. Because Jake Lockley is coming for you, man. You know, you see that. So that's why I'm down with what you're saying and what Max is saying, man. You know that like this guy is personified by the different types of personality that he has.
Yeah, and I think Mark is actually in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like Max said, Steven is the light. The dark part, the darkest part is Mark. The darkest part is Jake. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so Jake would be like the full darkness, which would be black, and then the white would be the light, and then the gray would be Mark, and gray is Moon Knight, essentially.
Right, correct. He's so gray bandages. Yeah.
And there's your anti-hero right there.
That was a good one, Sean. That was a good one right there. That was some good teamwork, guys. Good little personalities right here.
I'm just saying, man, you got to look at it and you got to break it down, because honestly, when you think of it, it's no way for him to actually, because Mark even has a conscience. Mark has a conscience. Yeah. And, Mark doesn't want to do some of the things that he does. Think about the other person. The other person is like, yo, because how we know that Mark doesn't want to do what Mark does is he said, I wasn't trying to kill everybody at the dig site. I was trying to let everybody escape. And I got he got handled in the process, right? So because he got handled in the process, you know, there's some stuff there. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff there.
Yeah.
What's up, Jay? What's up, JJ? You watching with us, man? What's up?
Yeah.
You know, definitely. So I think when you look at that whole thing, there has to be somebody who handles the dirty work, baby. You know what I'm saying? There has to be somebody who's gonna do it up, you know. So that's where we at.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey, I got a question to ask you guys, right? So, and I've been on this since like the show was before it was gonna come out. I really said that Moon Knight was gonna tie more to Black Panther than anything. And it's just because of, not because I'm like, I have super insight. It's just that I know the comics, right? So I was like, there's no way they're going to introduce all these guys and not tie to Black Panther. And every episode, we've gotten a little bit closer to Wakanda. Every episode, I mean, not this one, like they straight up said the astral plane and you got to see this place and all whatever else.
It was blatant.
Right.
It was.
So we're stepping a little bit closer. Yeah. Yeah. We're stepping a little bit closer to Black Panther, man. So I think at the end, we're going to have a huge payoff. I think at the end.
Agree. And that's the thing too. Let me say this, and then before we switch gears, that's the thing too. And Max, tell me if I'm wrong. They left everybody with they just left them on red. You know what I'm saying? They left us all on red. They didn't give us nothing to tie back to what's gonna happen next week. They just left us on red. Is he dead? Is he all the way gone? Because I mean, they even talked about, well, man, how is she gonna handle this by herself? Was she gonna go out in a blaze of glory? You know, and it's just like, man, you know,
the show didn't progress. There's the point they're at after last episode, they're still there. If the ball was on the 50-yard line, they're on the 45. They've barely moved at all. So they basically were like, oh, let me show you how we got to the 45-yard line. And that's what they did. And you're 100% right.
Yeah. But I guarantee it's going to be a touchdown the next time. I guarantee it's going to be a touchdown. So switching gears, man. Today, before we actually get in the trailers, today, Marvel and Kevin Feige spoke today. What was the name of the conference, Big G?
That it wasn't Comic-Con, but
it's like CinemaCon or something.
CinemaCon or something like that. Yeah. He spoke today, and definitely he said some things, but I'm more focused on what he didn't say. You guys, y'all don't find it interesting that he didn't give any dates on anything upcoming? Like,
no,
didn't talk about She-Hulk, didn't talk about Miss Marvel, didn't talk about, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy. Thor was he didn't really talk about that.
Are you surprised Kevin Feige's keeping it close to the vest or chest?
I kind of am.
Kevin Feige.
He's not giving us any date on anything forthcoming. Like, there's nothing. And
look,
he go ahead.
I have it on good
Max.
authority that was an executive from Sony they used in the sarcophagus. That was Alexander the Great. That was him mummifying them because they couldn't keep their mouth shut. Kevin Feige, if you leak stuff out, it's not good for you. Kevin Feige is always going to keep his mouth shut. He don't even talk about anything else. Like, he's just quiet. He wears cool hats. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted him to say something like, you know, give us some time. I mean, some stuff ain't even in production. And some of it is. I mean, me and G, we talked about it right before you came on the show. We reported on the fact that they got LLCs for, you know, to begin to start shooting the Fantastic Four. So they're shooting somewhere. We don't know. You know what I'm saying?
The
next characters casted, we don't know. And I'm just saying, at some point, Kevin, don't tip your hand, but give us some kind of indication of where we're moving towards. I mean, he doesn't waste anything, and he's
already done it. I mean, think about it. When we had the big announcement like a year and a half ago now, and they talked about all the properties and how they showed the snippets and, you know, screenshots of like Ant-Man Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Guardians Christmas, and Werewolf by Night, and Iron Lad and Secret Wars and Secret Invasion, and he laid out 2 years for you. What Kevin Feige is about to do is he's going to go into the ultimate rabbit hole, right? He's taking like 20 guys and some females, right? And they're going into a bomb shelter, right?
He's
built
like, an ark.
Right. I got enough food. I got enough food and everything. Everything you want is right here. And we're not going nowhere until we come out of this. And I got a 10-year plan after this 2-year run, right? And he's probably told them when he was down there in the rabbit hole, or when they go, like, if you come out of here and you tell, you're dead. Like, I ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Dead. Wow.
You're dead. You're dead.
Wow.
You're dead. You're not going forward no more. Oh, he's really like that, man. Think about it. If this guy's talking about sarcophaguses and killing Sony and all, if he's thinking that way, he's like, I'm only letting folks that I really can trust with my life down here for this 10-year plan. So if you tell, it might be mental or physical or emotional, or maybe even spiritually, you're dead to me. Because you can't tell what I'm going to do because really what's happening.
That boy said you're dead to me.
Yeah, you're dead to me. Right. So what's happening right in front of our eyes is that Kevin Feige and the MCU is about to become the total flagship for all movies moving forward. Like, he's ramping it up so high that no competition is going to be able to get close to him. Because he's jumping from Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever. He's jumping light years in front of people. It's like he's in a guardian ship and he's hitting one of them portals. He's coming out, way above, somewhere else. And he's going to hit it again and come out somewhere else. So Feige is setting this thing up to where, they taking over. Anybody that wants to do anything about movies, you're going to have to come through Feige and Disney, man. You're going to have to come through it, man. Because he's
like I said, I just find it interesting that you set up all of these characters and you set up all of this infrastructure and you said nothing about it. I just found it super interesting.
Smart.
So switching gears, man, we have got, first and foremost, tomorrow night, I will tell everybody, if you're listening, Marvelous Talk listeners, make sure you get off of the internet. If you're a spoiler person and you don't want to know what's going to happen on the movie, you don't want to see clips of it, get your behind off the internet tomorrow. Don't stop, don't go past. Go, it's over with, because tomorrow is when they're sending out pre-screeners, and you're definitely going to be pre-screeners, and then Monday is the red carpet, and after the red carpet, that's when they lift the press embargo to where people can start reviewing and talking about it. So I will say this, I'm excited. We're a week out. I know Max is going on Friday. I'm going Thursday. Big G, you said Thursday, right?
Man, I'm going at 8:45 on Thursday, man. I'm going to be in the theater, man. I'm in
That's just because we're worried about you falling asleep at this stage in your life. So,
yeah. So I'm probably have seen it twice by Thursday night.
You'll see it twice before I've seen it once. What if you'll see it twice before I've seen it at all?
Yeah, I probably will see it by 11:50 that night. I probably have seen it twice. I'm definitely gonna. I mean, it's 2 hours. So,
hey, are y'all going to see it in IMAX? Are y'all going to see it in IMAX?
Yeah. So one of them I'm gonna see in IMAX and over, and then when I'm seeing, it's not IMAX. I think it's just dope. But anyway, I'm gonna see it. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it twice. So the new trailers. Did we get any other information, Max? Did we get any other information that is going to be critical?
I'm going to shock you. I haven't seen it. I'm done. I hate trailers officially. I just want the movie. I haven't seen only as it's Thor, Doctor Strange. I'm done with until the movie. I'm literally going to start fasting from social media after the NFL draft tomorrow. I'm not going on social media that much. I want to be like I always tell you guys, I'm the guy. I want to hear nothing. I'm actually going to watch Morbius like right before I go to the movie, so I can just torture myself with crap.
So you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I can't be disappointed. I almost cussed on this pod. I was so when I said Morbius. Yeah. Maybe I said the M word, Morbius. So I have not seen the new trailer. Morbius has scarred me for life. Not for life. Yeah. Until I see this movie, and then I can love again.
He said I can love again.
Wow. As long as Doctor Strange doesn't drink a Capri Sun full of blood, we'll be good.
Yeah. Well, that would be Megan Fox. But anyway, I digress. we gonna get off of that. You know what I'm saying? Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Fox, they the ones.
Leave her alone. I haven't seen her since Transformers 2.
But here's the thing, Big G. Did you get any new information from these trailers that you've done seen, and are you that much more hype about it?
Man, they confirmed some stuff that everybody always already speculated based on whatever. I mean, the guy actually said, Doctor Strange, you can meet the Illuminati, which nobody had ever had it confirmed that it was actually the council was the Illuminati, right? So like the dude done said it now, you know, so like we know it's the Illuminati, you know. You got a confirmation about what America Chavez actually is, you know. America Chavez is a bad. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna make a bold prediction about America Chavez. I think America Chavez is going to be a centerpiece of this whole phase. I think after this movie,
I mean, her and Kate Bishop are best friends.
Yeah,
that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but about actually what she can do. Yeah, what she can do. She's a bad girl, right? And but the one that got me was the big one that got me was that when they fell through the portal and you saw the head of the Living Tribunal, I lost it. I was like, oh my God.
It was so quick.
You're kidding me.
It was so quick that you could barely see it, but it was there. It was definitely there. I think the biggest reveal to me is that the Professor X that we got in this one is in the gold X-Men 90, 91, 92.
97, X-Men 97, yeah.
97. He's in the gold wheelchair, right? So that's the one we're getting. We're getting that Professor X. And that to me was super dope. That's thoughtful, right? That's when you're putting thought into what you're doing. And that's Kevin Feige. I mean, that's the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe puts thought behind what they're doing. They don't just kind of go in there and say, hey, we're going to put a movie together. We're going to put some characters in it, and we're going to call it Morbius. You know,
bags of blood.
They're not doing that. They're like, you know, we're going to put some thought into this, and we're going to make every movie connect, and we want people to kind of follow the stories as they progress. This is what we're seeing is a new version of Star Wars. We're seeing Star Wars on, steroids, because Star Wars brought a generation of people along from the 70s all the way into the 2000s, right? And we're seeing that whole thing perpetuate itself out. Jaws, Rocky, we're growing, but instead of us giving like Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, getting a whole series of different characters that play a part of the same movie, if that makes sense.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's so well said. I loved your Star Wars point, and just imagine that Star Wars was kind of the blueprint, right, for world building. Excuse me, but somehow Star Wars fell off, where MCU literally has 8 shows about 8 different characters, and Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is on a much bigger scale as of right now. We're in different galaxies. We're not in the same like. Just the fact that Marvel has surpassed Star Wars in world building is just crazy to me, and it's just literally this is the blueprint. So I feel like Disney's trying to do that with Star Wars, but Star Wars hasn't just caught on as much because they've kind of messed up the movies. And Marvel with Kevin Feige at the helm, A1.
A1 from day one, baby. A1 from day one. And shout out to nephew Xavier, man. I mean, I understand your thought. His thought was that nothing is better than Infinity Wars. I gotta help him, man. I mean,
according to Sean, everything after is the best Marvel movie. Comes in.
The only thing that's sort of I can't call none of it trash, first of all. But the only thing that's sort of been sort of low really is like Black Widow was put out at the wrong time. It was 3 years too late, right? And maybe, and I'm hitting this with a whole bunch of maybes. Maybe Hawkeye wasn't the best it could have been, but it set a lot of stuff up. But every other product, even the cartoon, how was DC killing Marvel? DC was killing Marvel. If you go and like on HBO and stuff, they got cartoons for days, and you will sit and actually watch that stuff, right? Man, Marvel then hit them across the face with What If, and they like, man, you think we're going to just have What If, and run season 3, season 4, season 5. And every time, just going to kill you every time. Must-see TV. You know, so come on, man. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And Kevin Feige, MCU is taking over.
Yeah, I think, and to your point, Max, the reason why the Star Wars, I think, has not been able to world build as well as Marvel is the books. There's no way to kind of reconcile the books because of what they've done. They've strayed so far. You can't bring the books back into the movie because you'll totally, even if you tried to reboot everything, you would still confuse a whole fan base of people because you're going to count out characters that they never, wanted to be counted out. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, exactly. Let's put it like this. So Star Wars Episode 3 ends, right, in 2005. And then they have all these books that explain everything. And when Disney buys them, they're like, those books don't mean anything. Those books aren't canon anymore. So all that knowledge I had spent time building the world of this franchise is just gone. And now they're trying to rebuild it. And they've had some good books since, but it's just completely different. It's kind of like, damn, I believe Mandalorians were like this. So even watching Boba Fett, I was like, this is not how Mandalorian's supposed to be. But I guess that is just how Disney sees them. And that's what's made, like you said, the world building kind of just slow down. And Marvel is just all gas, no brakes. It's like everything we do is a hit.
Yeah, I mean, and literally it is. Literally it is.
Motown in the movies, man. Motown. That's what I'm calling it. Motown, man. Hit City USA.
Movies.
Yeah.
Hey, so you guys, we normally would finish with a taking a look at a movie and kind of pulling out some of the characters, and we would go through this whole thing with Max. Max, do we have that?
I was going to put it on hold because I wanted to talk to you guys about something I saw in today's Moon Knight episode, if that's cool. I was curious.
Absolutely. So for this last segment, Max is going to take the helm. Let's go.
So in this episode, we already got the reference to the astral plane, which is beautiful. The hippo hears, by the way. And then we get, I think Mark says it to his mom. She said, later, gator. And then the mom said something, in a while, alligator. Wasn't
after
there
a while, crocodile? She said after a while, crocodile.
Yeah, wasn't there already a nugget in these about an alligator god or a crocodile god? Isn't this just building more up into the gods and the whole Africa? Like, honestly, Africa and in the MCU, like Wakanda, Egypt, it's popping off. And it's finally recovered from Oscar Isaac playing Apocalypse. Sorry, guys, to bring that up on the show and just be a downer.
That was hurtful. That was hurtful.
But I just think
it wasn't that bad, but it was hurtful.
Because I only reason to bring this up is because there's such a void in the MCU in Wakanda because of real life situation with the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman. So this whole black hole of just, I don't mean black like a black hole. It's going to be bad. It's just after Captain America 1 or the
where
Avengers
do we go?
1, just say,
you know what I mean?
Let's just say Chris Evans was gone. It's like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
And
you got to think about this.
Robert Downey Jr. gone too.
Here's what you got to think about. Wakanda had became the light of the Marvel universe, right? Wakanda was the hot popping spot, right? And I think they're doing so the word is from pre-screener that everybody saw today, the movie opens with a big battle. Well, we know who that battle's going to be with. You know, that battle's going to be with Namor. And I think, it may be a setup to see the Black Panther that we know fall so that we can bring a new Black Panther into this universe, which, you know what I mean? I'm totally cool with us rebooting the character. Chadwick will forever be known as Black Panther, but the character has to kind of move on. We got things we got to do. You got to be with Storm. You got to make a kid. It's things we got to do. You know what I'm saying? There's things that have to happen in this universe.
You got to join. You got to join 616 universe of the Illuminati, which my big prediction is the Illuminati that we're going to see is not the last rendition of the Illuminati. We're going to see like a multiverse Illuminati, and they're going to point to the fact that there's actually one that exists in every dimension or every universe, and we're going to actually get the Illuminati, Black Panther, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Namor,
Mr.
Black
Fantastic.
Bolt, Mr. Fantastic in our universe. So they got some stuff they got to do.
But Max, finish. Go ahead and finish. Max.
No, that was it. I'm just saying, where we go from here? Because it seems like Africa and MCU is just popping off. We got the Egypt, we got the gods, and is there just a path where all this is going to intertwine? And if so, without going too much into detail, what does that path look like?
I think Sean will agree. Big G will agree when I say one name, Kang. That's where it's all ending. That's where it's all pointing. Driving the car straight off the cliff, and Kang the Conqueror is our big bad. He is the first big bad we're gonna run into in this. And people are like, "How is Kang a big bad?" You don't know who Kang is, obviously. Kang is really.
How isn't Kang a big bad?
I mean, for real.
Well, I mean, so everything's around multiverse, right? That's where multiverse. So what the heck is Kang? Kang is the villain of all these multiverses, man. There's a council of Kangs, right? And man, look, you'll see that his character set it up perfect in Loki. He said, "You think I'm? Wait till you start being the one.
You think
the variants of me, bro? These jokers is off the chain, So that's why I'm like,
and so I think to answer your question, all roads lead to Kang the Conqueror. And Kang is you thought Thanos was bad? You thought Thanos was the one? Kang is over and above what Thanos was. And the only thing that can get bigger and badder than Kang is Galactus. And I think at some point we'll see him. And I think, improving with Kang, you're going to get Dr. Doom. All of this is there for your taking in that whole Egypt region, right? All of it is there. And you have to I think they're bringing it in. That's why they're giving you Easter eggs to let you know that it's here, right? They're letting you know that it's here. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Max, you're a comic book fan, right? You're a comic book fan.
Mm-hmm.
Ramatut, right? It's Kang, right? Who'd Ramatut try to make his heir?
Was it?
In the comic books?
No, I don't. I have a guess, but I don't want to be wrong, so I'm not going to say it.
In Sabanur.
That's what I was going to say exactly. Because we've already mentioned we're already in Africa. So maybe we see a little inkling of, it's going to be kind of hard. We got two guys playing the same character, but they'd be a fool not to bring Apocalypse in this universe or even hint at him. Like I said, I think I said it in episode 1, we're going to see Apocalypse. Apocalypse. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, Apocalypse.
And you know what's funny, you guys? They missed a really good opportunity to drop an Easter egg. For real.
Maybe it's there, though.
The character that we all have been waiting, that we were all saying, it's Mephisto. They could have really dropped the Easter egg. She could have said, hey, you don't want to go to Mephisto's side of Holla, because that's bad. You know what I'm saying? It could have just said it, and it would have drove the whole internet bananas at that point. Would have drove. But, like I said, I think that they slow walk this series, and they're going to bring it to a close. I do want you to know, and this is ending with my part and shot, right? Oh my gosh. Eric Mullet says, when will the MCU run out of ideas?
Never. Never.
We'll be ever. Right? Never.
Yeah, no, never. They've got enough material. I mean, they're going to plan for the next 10 years. That's what they were going to plan for the next 10 years. So they got 10 years full of ideas at this point. And I mean, the comic books are so extensive. And I mean, look behind us. Look behind everything you see behind us and everything you see behind Big G. I mean, they've got this type of source material to pull from. How can you, you know what I mean? You can't go wrong. Like, there's so many dispensations of every character. You can tell different stories within inside of stories. And here's what I got to say. And Eric, I'm going to address this to you too. I'm going to address this to nephew Xavier. Y'all got to understand. People have a problem with the 2 hours and 6 minute movie. They've already set the premise up for this with WandaVision, What If, Spider-Man No Way Home. You've seen all these movies. You got all this information. So all you're finna get is non-stop action. By the time you sit down 30 minutes into this movie, your wig is going to be split because you're going to be just thinking like, I can't take anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these are the things that we're about to get into. And I think you're going to see that happen more as we go forward. I think you're going to see these in-between series set up the big movies. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see all these in-between things set up all the big movies. So when the big movies come, they don't have to give you big, long movies. What they could do is give you just the meat and potatoes, and all the fluff is gone. What do you think about that, Max?
I think you said it well, that they're never going to run out of ideas. They got so much to steal from. They can set it up different ways. And now with the ability of What If and the multiverse, they can change whatever they want. They can literally do the same story, but just change very subtle things, and we'll love it.
Yes, sir. Parting shots, you guys. Parting shots. I've already gave mine, Max. It's your time. What you got? Parting shot.
I love the fact the nuggets that are leading to Wakanda, like you guys said, and how beautiful it is there. And I just wonder in Doctor Strange 2, and we don't have to answer this because we can just wait for next week because we're going to do a preview for Doctor Strange 2. Is there going to be some variation of Black Panther we might see? Because this might be the perfect time to just kind of be like, here he is. Here's a new one. We have a kind of an excuse to put him in, and no one will really question it because of the tragic passing. Not that he's going to take over the role as the character because it's irreplaceable, He'll never be the king of Wakanda. Right. Maybe there'll never be another king. But
maybe
it's just, will they fill the hole with Doctor Strange? Will they figure out a way?
Good question. Good question. Big G, parting shot.
All right, so I'm from Ohio, right? Ohio, we got this amusement park called Cedar Point, right? And I remember going to Cedar Point as a kid in the 70s and the 80s, right? And they built the world's biggest roller coaster called the Gemini. About 8 to 10 years later, they doubled it up and they called it the Mean Street. Then about 5 years after that, they dropped on it and they called it the Magnum, right? Now they're building a roller coaster up there that's supposed to be like the world's biggest roller coaster ever, right? It's going to open up next year. For those people that don't understand what's going on in the MCU, you got to come check out Cedar Point because you'll understand why they keep tearing something down and building it up a little bit bigger and better. That's what the MCU is doing. They're adding, the Cedar Point is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because it has the attractions to draw people in. That's what the MCU, they have enough flavors for whatever. If you like lobster, you come in. If you like steak, you can come in. If you like Italian, you can come in. If you like Mexican, you can come in. If you like Asian, you can come in. They're building it up to where everybody's going to take a taste. So I say that to tell all the little fans out there, for us, our show and MCU people, enhance your taste buds versus being stuck on what you like. Because I'm telling you, your taste buds can grow based on just enjoying what the production team at the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing.
Hey, that's a good
Did you ride the rides? Did you go on the roller coasters?
I love them, man.
Are you going to go on the new one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're crazy.
I got to do it. I got to do it, man.
You're crazy. What are you, 10?
Never. My roller coaster days is done. I don't have those chances to play with my life. You know, listen, G Dub is probably the hottest, biggest. I mean, I got to give it to you. That is a hot take that you just gave. Enhance your taste buds. I like it. I like it. And one thing I will give you a caution. I have not seen the movie. I just know from what I know and what I'm about to see and what we saw in the trailers, this ain't for the kids.
Yeah.
Please don't run your little kids up in there. You know, you go see it first before you, because it's dark and it's supposed to be dark. It was meant to be dark. And I think, you know, this one is going to probably have a ton of killing in it. You know, there's going to be a whole bunch of folk die. You know,
let the killings begin.
Can I change my parting shot real quick?
Yes, sir.
Don't explore caves, kids. Nothing good has ever come from exploring a cave.
Nothing good. Stay out of a cave. Well, for what?
Don't go into serial killers' basements. Stay out of caves. Nothing good ever happens.
Please don't go near vans that are painted all white with the window black. I mean, listen, there's just certain things you just don't do. There's certain things you don't do. All right, listen, I appreciate everybody who came on, man. Everybody who was here and rock with us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Every time we go live, you'll be able to get a notification. We will be here. Again, we have like some other things that we'll be talking about. You're going to see some stuff on Saturday. Our Saturdays are always reserved for other things. They're reserved for, us talking about like She-Hulk. They're reserved for us talking about Obi-Wan. They're reserved for us talking about these other things that we don't get to on the main Marvelous showcase. But I do want you guys to make sure you rock with us on Saturdays. But until then, we're out. We'll catch you later. Peace.